For Eric J on Sports, I'm Eric J, and this is what I think. Well, the season is over for the Los Angeles Lakers, and if you look back at this season, you will agree with me that this season has been an abject failure. While there are going to be some fans who are going to look at this and go, well, we, and the fans that say we are the ones that I worry about the most anyway, they're going to look at this season and say, well, we would have gotten further if Anthony Davis had not been hurt. We would have gotten further if LeBron James had not gotten hurt. We would have gotten further if player X, Y, or Z had not gotten hurt. And that's a good way to think about things. But I'm going to give you some information that I hope helps you understand why this season was such an abject failure. Point one is the fact that Anthony Davis is always hurt. Every season that he has been with the Lakers, he has been injured through part of it. Every season that he has been in the league, he has been injured through part of his seasons. He's always hurt. I'm not saying he's not a great player. He's one of the best players in the league when he's on the court. But as people say in sports, availability is the best ability to have. And Anthony Davis does not always have the availability. He's always hurt. So that's a problem when you hitch your wagon to a guy who's always hurt, especially when you couple him with a guy who's nearly 40 years old and has played 19 seasons in the league and with getting to the finals 8 times in a row and 9 times in 10 seasons, which added another 20 games to each one of those seasons. And that's 180 games. That's an extra 2 seasons. You're talking about a guy who's playing on 22 season legs in his 19th season at 37 years old. So when you couple an always hurt guy with an older guy who's now breaking down more frequently, then you've got a problem. Point two is the fact that it cost the Chicago Bulls 1 player, Thaddeus Young, and 2 draft picks to get DeMar DeRozan from the Spurs. It cost the Lakers 3 players and 4 draft picks to get Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook costs about $15 to $20 million more than DeMar DeRozan. Russell Westbrook is leading the league in turnovers while DeMar DeRozan is an MVP candidate for a Chicago Bulls team that's headed to the playoffs. And those players that the Lakers gave up to get Russell Westbrook are starring and helping other teams, because it wasn't just the 3 players that were traded, or if I use correct English, it wasn't just the 3 players who were traded. It was the players, the free agents who weren't signed because the Lakers needed cap space to be able to pay Russell Westbrook. DeMar DeRozan is an MVP candidate, playing for the Chicago Bulls, who are making on their way to the playoffs. Russell Westbrook is the only player who was able to play every game in the season for a Los Angeles Lakers team who just got eliminated from playoff contention and is currently sitting as an 11 seed when only 10 are getting into the playoffs. So that's a problem. Point 3 is the fact that at the trade deadline in February, everybody thought that the Lakers were going to move Russell Westbrook because the experiment has been an abject failure. And Houston was willing to take Russell Westbrook and his contract and a first-round draft pick 5 years from now for John Wall. And the Lakers didn't want to give up that first-round draft pick because they didn't feel like it was worth giving up a first-round draft pick for a player who currently right now is in the 7th or 8th grade to get John Wall for Russell Westbrook. Now, the problem with that is the fact that any savvy general manager worth his salt in the NBA would have been able to recoup that draft pick within 5 years by making another trade or 2. Draft a few players, sign a few undrafted free agents, turn them into stars, and then flip them for assets, and then it's 2027 and you have a first-round pick. Probably a lottery pick, depending on who you deal with. But Rob Pelinka figured, 1, he would still have the job 5 years from now as general manager of the Lakers, and 2, that he wasn't good enough to be able to, in 2022, put together enough assets such that in 2026, he could make some deals for those assets and get a first-round draft pick for 2027. And Jeannie Buss said, yeah, you're right. You're probably not good enough to do that, so we won't risk it. So that's where the Lakers are now. And point 4, the defensive genius that Frank Vogel was supposed to be, seemingly, after 3.5 seasons, lost the locker room. Seemingly lost the locker room. Nobody was playing defense. Nobody was hustling. Russell Westbrook was taking unrecommended hero shots when he should have been going to the basket, creating havoc for the defense so he could pass and get his assists. Nobody could make free throws. Everybody was turning the ball over. The Lakers were a mess. And on top of that, Frank Vogel could not get this band of characters to play together. And the reason was because he did not have a regular lineup. One day, it's Davis and DeAndre Jordan and LeBron with Westbrook and Horton Tucker. The next day, it's Dwight Howard with Anthony Davis and LeBron with Austin Reeves. And the next day, it's just Davis and LeBron James and Westbrook and Stanley Johnson and DJ Augustine. And then Dwight Howard or DeAndre Jordan don't even play. And I get that players were hurt. Dwight Howard missed some games. Anthony Davis missed a lot of games. LeBron James missed quite a few games. But every other team in the league has a lineup that they go with, the starting 5. And if somebody gets hurt, it's next man up. It's not if somebody's hurt, you shuffle the dominoes and you pick a new 5, and those are the guys who start. The biggest problem, though, that the Lakers have, we can call this point 5 if we want to, but it's the biggest problem that the Lakers have, and it's the fact that the organization is run like a family business. And running the Lakers like a family business means you're constantly looking for ex-Lakers to be your coach. You're constantly looking for ex-Lakers to be your general manager. You're constantly looking for ex-Lakers to be your president of basketball operations. And that's fine. Al Davis does it with the Raiders, and you see the mess the Raiders were in until recently. What the Lakers need to do is find the best people for the job. It seems that when they had the chance to sign Ty Lue and didn't because they wanted to tell him who his assistant coaches would be, and they wanted to make sure that he was listening to all the ex-Lakers, the same way the Raiders did when Al Davis was in charge, Ty Lue wasn't interested. So they signed Frank Vogel, who just was looking for a job. And now the rumor is that they're going to sign Quinn Snyder as the new coach, which means he will have to have ex-Lakers as his assistant coaches, and he will have to listen to Kurt Rambis and Phil Jackson, and he will have to coach LeBron James and Anthony Davis, who are always hurt and getting older, and he will be in the same situation as Frank Vogel. Maybe you go get a coach who's a good coach, like Jason Kidd. Maybe you go get a GM who knows how to make basketball decisions and not the agent of a former player who's looking for a job because that former player is no longer playing. And maybe you build this team the right way. Think about it this way. The Golden State Warriors got lucky in the draft because they were able to select Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson. Those players are all all-stars. Those players have won championships, and those players grew together and became perpetually competitive. The difference is, though, they want to be together. Oklahoma City got lucky, and they drafted James Harden and Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. Those players are all all-stars. Those players have all been MVPs. But they didn't want to play together. They all wanted to be top guy, where the 3 guys in Golden State were happy to share the wealth as long as they were winning, which is why the 3 guys from Oklahoma City are all over the place. One's in Brooklyn, one's in Philadelphia, and one's with the Lakers. None of them are in Oklahoma City, but the 3 guys in Golden State are still in Golden State, and they're in the playoffs. So what the Lakers need to do is find guys like those 3 guys in Golden State, through the draft, through trades, undrafted free agents, whatever you got to do. Find guys like those 3 guys in Golden State. Let them grow together, maybe under the tutelage of LeBron James. Let them grow together, become winners, become champions, and build this thing so that you can just plug in guys and continually win at a high level for years and years and years and years. Or if you're a smart GM, you build these guys, you create assets, and then you can use those assets to recoup that 2027 first round pick that you would have given away to get rid of Russell Westbrook. That's what needs to happen. But it hasn't happened, and it's not going to happen. And the Lakers were just eliminated from the playoffs, and right now they're an 11 seed in a 10-team tournament. They're number 11, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better because we've got Shaq saying get rid of everybody but LeBron and AD. And then Magic is blaming LeBron for not bringing in DeMar DeRozan. So next season, the Lakers will be LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and 13 other guys, more than likely. They'll probably keep Horton Tucker. They'll probably keep Austin Reeves. And they'll probably revamp the whole thing and sweep the thing clean and bring in 12 other guys, some of them all-stars, some of them experienced journeymen, and try to run this thing back again. And it probably won't work because Davis will be hurt and LeBron will be hurt while he's chasing Kareem. That'll be more important to him. Maybe they'll have Russell Westbrook. Maybe they won't. They had Rondo, but they let him go. They had a bunch of other players, but they let them go. And who knows who will be there and who won't. And who knows where the season will end. But right now, the Lakers are out of the playoffs. So the Lakers season is essentially over. There's games left, but the season is over because those games mean nothing. But unfortunately, if they continue to do business as usual, next season games won't mean anything either. Remember to like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. And follow me on Facebook at Eric J on Sports 1 and on Instagram and Twitter at Eric J on Sports. And I invite you to visit my new Eric J on Sports website, the link in the description below, and I welcome your comments on that new site. And for Eric J on Sports, I'm Eric J, and this is what I think.